Hello and welcome to Fishman's YouTube channel. It's I, Fishman. For those of you who haven't checked out my other stuff, give it a look, please. I can use feedback. I'm still new at this. Um, so I thought I'd do something a little different than I've been doing when I do stuff with this channel. Um, and that is doing a how-to starting off space engineers. I've got a few friends that I've introduced to the game. We've played it both on and off stream, and it's always the same thing. Kind of getting started can be a little difficult to figure out. Can almost seem a little daunting at times. So what we're gonna do here is go from a fresh world, fresh start, and get to a sustainable base. And just kind of hit up some of the basics along the way. So, I always start off with a custom game, and I like to give the option of the full solar system. So let's call this startup TUT GUID guide. So survival mode. In this case, I'm going to say offline. If you were to say online, let's say private, right, up to 16 people, friends, public, all the same. It's a lot of fun with your friends. Just keep in mind, if you have other people on it, or on your quote-unquote server, right, that they will spawn away from you. So I don't really mess with a lot of this stuff yet. But if you're going to be playing with multiplayer, you want to lower your optimal spawn distance, because otherwise they're going to be kilometers away from you. You can bring it down a lot lower, and they'll spawn a lot closer. It might take a little trial and error, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're in a public server to start a good distance away from another player. But I like to play with my friends. If you're like me, or with this kind of game, lower your optimal spawn distance. So as far as mods go, I'm going to show you with vanilla. But these are the mods that I really like. If you want, or if any of you all want to know a little bit about why I decided the different ones, hit me up in the comments, or send me a direct message, whatever. Find me on Twitch, same name as my YouTube name, and I can explain it. But that's not what this is about. We're gonna go with complete vanilla for this. So now that I've set all of this up, you can turn autosave off if you want. I like the challenge. We're not going to go as far as building vehicles. I'm really more focused on getting the base. I'm still kind of learning the vehicles. So, when doing the solar system, if you're new, it's probably best to start with Earth-like. But as you can see, it gives you different, like, trouble settings, so to speak. Something else to know. First person in creates the faction. And then the other players will want to join that faction to make sure they spawn close enough. Otherwise, you're still going to spawn far away. So I'm the first player. There are no other factions. Cool. And then to start out, respawn, Earth-like. And here's where everyone starts, falling in a drop pod. So every drop pod is going to be equipped with an ore detector to make sure that your ore detector is giving you the best coverage. You need to go press your K button if you're on default settings, which pulls you into your control panel because you're seated in here, right? Ore detector. When you build stuff later on, if you build an ore detector, it's not going to be set to its max range to start with. So, all right. So also, you'll start off with your base grinder, a base drill, and a base welding torch. Inside your cockpit for your drop pod, you will get one gun, 3 magazines, and a GPS thing, right? Gives you coordinates to the nearest shop, trade post, if you will. You can create marker, and what that'll do is put it here in your GPS. I always like to change the color a little bit and always make it visible for whenever I start creating my initial points, right? Okay, so we've landed. I'll press my F key to jump out. So if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see your health, your oxygen, O2, your energy, that's the suit's energy, and then H2, and that's for your flying. You'll see damper to the right of that. If I press Z, it turns it off. If I press Z again, it turns it back on. When you're in the atmosphere, you want your dampers on. And here is why, right? So there's me flying with dampers on. I just turned dampers off, and I'm just kind of doing whatever the wind wants me to do. Also, if you look above your health, that J, you don't need your helmet open if you're on an Earth-like planet where you can breathe. You see experimental mode up there? That just means I can enable mods. So we have now landed. I usually like to do the first-person view till I'm driving a vehicle. So we're just going to do a quick preliminary look around. So there's where our station is, decently far away. That's our drop pod. If you're playing with friends, right, I get you to inventory. You go to GPS. I can rename, or I can copy this. Let's copy this. New from current position. New from current position. So that if I'm playing with friends, I do that in order to copy it to clipboard. Press enter, Control V, enter. After they're in the game, and what it'll do is it'll give them a grade 1, like when we first did the IG station. It'll give them a grade 1 in here, and then they just have to go in and say always visible, and that'll help give them a direction to go. Each drop pod comes with your seat, which is great for when you have to recharge yourself. A battery with mostly full charge. If you want to get a better look at your charge, I can look at this computer and press K to get back in here. So maximum stored power is 1 megawatt. There is no current input, current output, kind of small, cool, stored power. We're only 10 off of it being topped off all the way, fully depleted in 8 hours. So that's our time frame for getting energy in a base setup, because this here is our survival kit. Okay, F. It's what we're going to use to produce our metal, our silica, and our nickel required to get our base components built. We'll go into those in just a moment. So, right now, all I'm seeing is the survival kit's inventory. I can show all the connected inventories, but if you notice, it grays out everything when I go to try taking this hydrogen bottle. This inventory is not connected to this inventory via conveyor belts, which I'll cover more later. Same thing with that inventory. What that means is, if I want to get into my hydrogen bottle, again, F gets you into the component you're looking at, into its inventory. If I want to start off, which I highly recommend, take out your hydrogen bottle. It'll make it a lot easier, because as you fly, your hydrogen will replenish itself, and then you just have to remember to top it off every so often. So we've landed. We've taken stock of our shuttle, our battery, our survival kit, and our O2 H2 generator, and our cockpit. Now it's time to start doing stuff. We were not lucky enough to get an obvious mineral deposit. Happens a lot, believe it or not. So at this point, just kind of find somewhere nice to build. If you're on flatland, flatland's great, right? If you're not, no worries. Press C to crouch and start harvesting. I will warn you, the stuff that you're harvesting will roll down the hill. So, I spam the F button to make sure I don't lose it. But we need all of these rocks here. So we're about... Oh, footprints, nice. We're about to be where it's really dark. If I press my L key, turns on my helmet light. Now, I highly recommend when you're drilling down, I'm sure if you're a more advanced player, you don't need to do it this way. I am not. I keep crouched. It helps me keep a gradual incline. So if you notice above my toolbar, I've got that the kind of unusual symbol. That's the backpack, your inventory, whatever. And that red line, that line that is now turned red, is letting me know that I am almost full. So, inventory full. So if you notice, nice gradual slope into the mountain. Super convenient. So next thing we're going to need to do is put our stone in our survival kit. You can do this several ways. I can hold control down. It goes 10 at a time. I can hold shift down. That's 100 at a time. I can right click on it and drag it over. Now I can put in the number. 110. Look at that, we just doubled it. Or I can drag it normal, left click. Moves as much of the stack as it can. I can also double click. Double click will send everything that it can over there. And lastly, deposit all ores, ingots, and components. If I've got a menagerie of items in my inventory, and I want to move it all over at once as much as it can fit in this survival kit, I just press that. Boom, all of it moves. There we go. Production. As you can see, she's not generating anything right now. So, we come over here. I just go ahead and hold down the shift key because you're going to need to make a lot of gravel. Making gravel will also divide into your other base components. I put a big number in. I'm not going to get nearly that much from that much stone, but it does get the process started. So this isn't helpful anymore. We'll save power by turning a few things off. So I leave the beacon antenna on because if I move away from the ship, it's still gonna put out that the ship is right here. Makes it easier to come back to. I can save my coordinates like you saw me earlier, and I can use that to come back without having to use the antenna and beacon. But the antenna and beacon, if you notice, isn't currently really doing that much of a draw. So we're good. So as you can see, most of our stuff has shifted over into gravel, iron, nickel, and silica. In order to start building the base, we're going to need some steel plates. So let's go ahead and build arbitrary number of 30 to start with. While it's doing that, I'm going to gather some more resources right quick. If you notice here, it's saying that my required and available, right? I currently require 133 units of iron, or 133 iron ingots. I have 4 available. That's how much stone I need, right? If I want to complete that order. The reason I like to put gravel that far in the very front is as I drop new stone, it will convert all of the stone and then start working on the rest of what I need. So we crouch again. Footprints. Again, I'm just spamming the F key. So there we go. I like to drill downward, personally, because that will pile up the extra stuff at the bottom. So we've got 10 of these right now. That's a good starting number. So what's next, right? We have a component. Well, we're going to need somewhere to stick things. So if you look at how everything's set up right now on my toolbar, number 4 is armored block. Armored block comes in two sizes. This large one, this smaller one. This smaller one is what you'd be sticking on the ship if we were adding blocks to it. The larger one, as you can see, doesn't really want to, or it changes it back to small right away, right? Because it's not big enough to support. But it doesn't want to let me put small down. Cool. Let's press R4 to get the big. And we're going to come... I'm going to start here. Okay. So we can use insert, home, up, delete, and page down to rotate our objects in all 3 dimensions in space, one at a time, right? Delete, right, shift, clockwise, insert, slope downward, and is like the opposite of home, which is back and forth, right? So anyway, yeah. So, but right now we want to snap this here. There we go. So, each one of these frames, these skeletons, will cost me 1 steel plate to start with. And if you look in the far right, you can see component requirements, right? So if I want to complete them out, I have to use 25 steel plate total. I'm not really worried about that right now. We're just trying to get the frame of a base out, right? So we'll throw some of these down. Well, look at that. It's a little bit annoying to have to jump up there every time. So I can use my mouse wheel, and I've just changed the shape. Well, now here's where our rotations come in handy. Boom. Now I can run up this way. Super duper easy. That being said, if I look with my 1 key tool, which is my welder, and I look at the block, it's telling me I have 1 out of 20 steel plate placed and 0 out of 5. Once I put that first 20 in, it would be at that functional level that you can see, that red line. That's right next to the second thing that says steel plates. At functional, it'll look complete. It'll do its job. It just means it won't take as much of a hit or as much damage before it breaks and is no longer useful. I'm not planning on doing a whole lot of abuse to this. We're not playing with a whole bunch of other players that are going to damage things and destroy it. So I'll go ahead and leave these as skeletons. You also notice I rolled from being a light armor slope back up to a light armor block. Oh, look, we're out of steel plate. But never fear, 12 more. Here's where we want to start catching the wind. We need power for any of our equipment to operate on here. That being said, we can use a combination of our jetpack and these armor plates So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll put one more. Why not? 7. I lied. 8. So that looks like it's kind of higher than that. Oh no, I pressed a button and I'm upside down. What do I do? Well, I can use I could, flip, rotate, right? That way, if I need to change my pitch, that'll be Q and E. I try to keep myself on a planet oriented up and down as much as possible. If I press X, the pack shuts off. I can take fall damage. I tend to turn it off and then turn it right back on before I hit the ground. Otherwise, you can just tap your C key. Again, tap it. So, okay, look at that. I need a wind turbine. So if you notice I pressed my 7 key, that's wind turbine, until they have it set up for me in vanilla. Yay. Well, let's look over to our right where it says wind turbine, right? And then underneath that, components required. So in order to place the skeleton, I need at least one interior plate. I'm only going to build one interior plate to start with, because I'm going to show you a shortcut trick that's super duper handy. We're going to come back over here. Oh yeah, shift lets you run. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to place it on top. Then I'm going to bring out my welder. I'm going to fly to where I can see the green outline around it, right? The corner boxes. And then I'm going to right click. Components, add it to build planner. So we'll feather C. Turn off once we're about on the ground. So, build planner, I hear you say. What's a build planner? Well, I'm going to press G, again, vanilla controls. And as you can see, I've got this lovely assortment of blocks. If you look over in this corner, it says build planner, wind turbine, and it gives me the list of the components that I need. If I press progression, it shows you on the far left here what all the parent blocks are. Right? Each of these blocks will unlock the sub stuff underneath it up until that point, right? Then over here, you have to unlock that or build one of those to unlock these. I have to build one of these to unlock this. Right? Same with this. Once I build my first landing gear, I can build these other ones. When you're ready to swap stuff out from your bottom hotkey, you can just take and drag and drop onto one of your spots, right? You can also, at this point, if you want, add to your build planner. Oh no! I've accidentally removed my drill, but I need to get more stone so I can build my other stuff. This one took me a moment to figure out. Character to weapons would be if I was holding the gun. Sorry. Look at the blocks, not progression. Right? I'm not holding a gun. Don't care. Let's look at tools. Oh, wow. Look at that. Drill. We fixed it. So when you go to progression, it doesn't matter what you've clicked on here. It will stay at build planner. I'm not going to be building solar panel quite yet, but in order to open up conveyor belts and your connectors / sorters, you need to build a storage. I know from playing this, if I try putting down either a small or a large container, I need cobalt for the metal grid. That means I have to find it first. So for now, I'm going to take the medium storage, which does not require any of that. Right? No cobalt. If you look at the components there, they're all listed in the survival kit. So I don't have to worry about components that I don't have. And we'll show you how to build that first storage here in a moment. So for now, we have just our wind turbine in our build menu. So right here, add components from build planner to production queue. So right now, I only have gravel in the production queue. Right? If I had any of those components already sitting here in the mass part, I can withdraw components for the build queue. Well, it says it can't withdraw all of those bits because I don't have any of them. Nothing moved. But I can do this, and now, look at that, we have a full queue. If I withdraw a component and get my welder out, watch the components required on the right. See? Went up to 4 interior plate. Yay! That being said, we need to harvest more resources. Oop. C. C for crouch, X for jet. Well, look at that. We're all filled up again. Nope. Out the cave, out the tunnel we made. Back over here. Alright. So keep in mind, if I use withdraw to pull out bits, and then I use... Or I still have the bits and baubles that I needed from my build planner, and I took it from the survival kit, the assembler, whatever, and I press the deposit all ores, ingots, and components. It'll put it back in there, but it won't change what are the update of removing the pieces from the build planner. So you're going to be SOL unless you clear out your queue from your build planner screen and right click on that component again. But for now, we'll just do that. While it's generating stuff, we'll go back to harvesting more resources. Oh, fun fact. If I'm crouched and I press shift to sprint, I will stand up until I stop sprinting. So, again, until it's done making gravel, it will not produce on the rest of this. That being said, I can look here and see I still need over 100, or no, I need about 50 more iron, and I'm not going to be producing that with this. So, again, we'll let it produce. We'll run over here. All right, so that should give us our last bit of needed iron. Plenty of nickel, plenty of silica. All right, so let's withdraw what we have already. So 2 motors, 20 construction components, 24 girders, and 2 other components we didn't get yet. Cool. Cool story, bro. Back to our welder. Now, if you notice, hydrogen's getting low, but we have the hydrogen tank on us. And so this is why I planned that out. So we'll throw that in there. Notice our percentage is going up. It shows us the very first in the stack going upwards, where we ran out of bits and bobbles, and it turns white from gray if it's completed out. Cool. All right. Now, sometimes you might have extra stuff in here, and you're like, "What the heck? I know I told it to transfer over, but it's not entering." Keep a look at your volume, right? Your volume is your limiting quantity. As you grab more things, look at that. No warning. That means that should be everything else we need for this build. The more stuff you grab, the heavier, the more volume you take up. But we'll fly up. All right, let's keep an eye on this. Oh, look at that. Next step. Got a little bit more built. So, right now, I'm at the functional hack line. If you're playing with other people, or you come across NPC stuff and you're like, I really want that, you can use your grinding wheel, which is under 2, and bring it down to this functional hack line. When you do that, you then have to replace the computers that are in the component, and you've now hacked it, and it's yours. Once it goes past that functional, it's now operating. I built all the components, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it out to 100 so it can take the most amount of beating. So, we have power. Now what? Well, we look at our build planning menu, which has updated, right? We've got all of this stuff that we want and we can't has. So some of this stuff is unlocked. It's not grayed out anymore because it has different requirements for what you need to build in order to produce it. Like right here, see? Because we built a wind turbine, all of these are now unlocked, except for the DLC items. If you don't own that DLC pack, you can't unlock it. So, next, I recommend building your basic refinery. It's already put in slot number 6, right? But we can also come down here, basic refinery, will give me my ore detector, and it'll unlock the drill, which we can either place on a building or on a vehicle. It'll unlock the regular assembler and the regular refinery as well, but both of these require metal grids. Metal grids require cobalt. So what we'll end up starting here is, let's build our skeleton for our basic refinery. So if I'm looking at this right now with its grayed out skeleton, if you notice that outer border is green all around, right? If it's redded out all around, bad. That bottom red's letting me know it's in contact. The green outer borders let me know I can build it. So we'll rotate this around for a moment just to give some talking points. I'll do it this way. So if you notice, there's these yellow boxes on it. They're conveyor doors, right? Allows you to hook conveyor belts, allows you to access. It's the same as on our drop pod there where we are accessing that. So if you notice, we've got one on either side, and then, oh, that's it for the basic. That being said, those are the only two spots that we can connect conveyor belts or another piece of equipment. So I'm going to put it right here. So there's my skeleton. We're going to right click it again to add it to our build planner. In this case, I know I've got some steel plate, so we'll go ahead and withdraw. Still a lot of stuff, but we can go ahead and have it start doing that. And then add to our structure. Oh, look at that. We've got a bunch of extra, but we are full. So let's go ahead and run out. Huh, look at that. 800 more metal ingots. Woo, that's a lot. Deposit all our ore. I like to, especially early game where there's only 1,000 liters in the survival kit, I like to pull out components as we need them. So, all right, I'm not trying to make this a long, super long video. It's just basics of the game to start out. So, at this point, right, it's rinse, repeat, harvest, convert to gravel, use the components to be able to build our thing. We're going to want to build a storage, a refinery, and a basic assembler. A basic refinery, basic assembler. Those will all unlock the early game components that you need. Also, the survival kit, once you find your cobalt, will not convert cobalt and above, just stone. The refinery will do all, a base refinery will do stone and cobalt, iron, nickel, silica. Survival kit should do iron, nickel, silica as well. So you're definitely going to need that, need the base refinery in order to you'll definitely need the base refinery in order to start building your mid to top tier items. We'll finish this on video here, and then I'll show you the trick to be able to build storage containers without having to build a full new vehicle or find cobalt, so you can unlock your conveyor belts and such. And then we'll think about maybe wrapping it up from there. So while it's doing that, I do also want to point out, if we look around, oh look, there's an unknown signal. Whatever could that mean? So we're going to refill this, send it back into our H2O2 generator. Notice it did use up some of our ice to fill that up. So the reason I do that is because I am impatient and I want to get here as quick as possible. Do not fly into the trees. They will kill you. If you look on our lower left, it tells you your speed in meters per second. It can become very easy to overshoot. So here's our unknown signal. I highly recommend letting it land before you mess with it. So on this, we have one small cargo container. We've got a button. We've got some lights. And then probably on the other side underneath is where we're going to end up having our... Alright, I'm just trying to see if I can nudge it. There. Our parachute hatch. So these things are awesome for two reasons. So if I press this button, try your luck at a new special item. Hey, I got a skin, a badger skin, for my grinder. And it's free. You can change that from a medical room or from the starting menu. So notice our beacon to it and its timer that was showing up underneath has gone away. If you don't make it to your item, to your unknown signal, before that timer runs out, it will go kaboom. Don't worry, another one will come along. It'll give that same audible signal. At this point, I can walk away. I don't ever have to worry about it again. Eventually, I might stumble across it. Cool. I can harvest it at that point. But I recommend let's look inside. So we get our space credit. We get some space credits, construction components, and motor. What you find inside the cargo does, in fact, vary. But I might as well grab all of that. So you you know, you'll usually get credits at the very least, but then sometimes you'll get, you know, maybe girders, a new tool. Sometimes it's a better tool, sometimes it's the same. Usually just tier 1 or tier 2 for tool. The other nice thing we can do with these is, if I use my grinder, I'm getting a bunch of free components. And honestly, who doesn't want free components? Now, you want to make sure that you empty out the cargo container before you grind it up, because some items may or may not get lost and they won't just fall out on the floor. So, if you notice, from having done that, we got the initial handful of construction components and motors, but now we also have got all of this other stuff as well. So there's our base. Let's fly back over to it. Oh no, my energy is low. Whatever shall I do? See, look at that. It refilled my hydrogen tank. So, 2 ways to recharge my energy and or hydrogen on this drop pod. Way number 1. I come over here, I press F to recharge, and heal, right? Because it's connected up to this system of ducts, not right here, these ducts, not necessarily actual conveyors, I can get my oxygen through it and power. Or I can just sit in this chair. I'm not going to get my H2 and O2 recharged, but you notice my battery's recharging and I'm not doing a whole lot. Don't necessarily worry about the weather. That'll affect how much power you're generating from your wind turbine or solar, and visibility. So I've got all these new nice shiny baubles. Let's go ahead and drop everything into the thing here. So if you notice, my scrap metal, which came from the batteries that we ground up, went to a small cargo container, and our pipe went nowhere. Your survival kit can't process scrap, and since it can't produce the small tubes, it can't store it either. So the reason I dropped all of that in there when I know I'm going to need some of it is because I can do this to update my build planner. So now it's pulled out everything that I dropped in that I need, and my build planner has updated to make it a wee bit easier. So we'll go ahead and start updating here. Looky there. Oh, fun fact. Just because I updated my build planner does not mean that this is updated. I can update this manually by right-clicking on that motor and saying I only need one more. Right-clicking on those, and then for metal plate, I think I only need it 56. So right-click to clear it from the queue. I can hold Control, click 5 times, and then 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot less stuff I need. Oh yeah, having your flashlight on does drain the battery quicker. So I don't mind generating some extra stuff there because I know I'm going to be coming back very shortly to get more. Pro tip. If I look at the chair and I hit I, until I have storage set up, I can store this stuff in here. Now, it's got a very limited storage, right? But at least it will hold some stuff. Look at that. Already over halfway to capacity. So, if you want a bit quicker of a start, and you're still playing it vanilla without the mods, keep in mind I could have used that settings, or I can go in after the fact next time I load it and increase player or component storage numbers. And that can help you get a lot quicker lift off to the game. Most things you can get back if you are the one grinding it away. If I were to crash a vehicle into a building and it breaks it below functionality or functional, then I will get scrap metal to replace some but not all of the items destroyed because of that wreck. What? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, I pressed the wrong button. Okay. Reduction. We still need a lot of iron. Alright. So, if you notice, trying to run up, I got stuck on the ceiling a little bit. I can just grind that away. Look at that. Uncrouch. Looks like we're probably going to need one more trip to finish that. And then... look at that. We did enough overflow that I could... I could fill my inventory without having to Oh, finishing up 7, 37, 43, 6, 9, boom. Cool. Once it finishes that, notice that it'll switch over to this and automatically withdraw. Cool. All that to finish our build planner. Again, I'm at the line. I went over the line. So sometimes functional will be above hack. If that's the case, just because I build it up to hack does not mean I can use it. But at this point, I can now start throwing my rock in my basic refinery. The other nice thing is, now that I've got this keypad and a thing I can go into, I can use K and look at what I'm producing. Right now, it's an optimal placement and producing 409 kilowatts. So this is considered one structure. So if I go over to info, right, I can tell it show me center of gravity, of mass, and show me so basically show me where my center of gravity is for the thing. It can show me if it's big enough, right, what's the gravity range of the whole thing. If it's got sensors, show me my sensor range, show me my antenna range, grid pivot, right, if you've got to use something that bends. Distance stuff, I can convert a ship to a station or a station to a ship using the button here. And I can name it. But let's name this Home Base 1. There's no assembler attached, no production. So, next thing I'm going to need is going to be an assembler. Here is why building a refinery, even a basic one, is awesome. Look at how quick that was. But until the assembler is made, I'm gonna still have to take all of those items. I'm gonna leave the gravel in there for now, and run it over to my survival kit to build for me. So, at this point, I will go ahead and show you pro tip, because this seat will fill up quickly. It only has 1,000 liters of storage. It can fill up real quickly. And as you chase after unknown signals, and as you're building or getting gravel made, it's gonna keep taking up. I mean, look at that. If the volume's already at half, over half of what is in there at the moment. So what you're gonna want is a landing gear and a landing gear and a medium storage, which, as you know, we've already set up on our hotbar. We go over to progression. I can say And the reason I pulled it out and looked at the dropship is because there are two sizes. You've got your large one, which, as you can see from component requirements, takes a lot more, and your small one. If I look at the ship, it's automatically giving me small one because the dropship uses the small grid blocks. So that makes it super easy for me because it's going to default to the small component on my build planner. So I'm going to throw that in there, and then I'm going to go to my medium cargo, throw that in there. And now I can see what I have to start with. And add the rest to the build planner. And then I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to drop skeleton for that. And place this on top of it. So if I were to just place this, notice I can push it around everywhere. Up here, it's anchored it. You can really place it anywhere. I just put it here to be out of the way. And this is going to be important for when I do the assembler. Because that just unlocked all of our vehicle stuff and base refinery. It unlocked all of our base components for building a vehicle, right? Our cockpit, wheels, and if I'm doing something that can fly, or I think I might be going too fast, my parachute. I don't have all of this stuff yet. Fine with that. So we are going to need our conveyor tube. Either corner or straight. See, look at that. Our next unknown signal is dropping. I'm not too worried about that at the moment because we are almost G to G here.
Inventory full.
I do like to make sure it's shaped for me to be able to run up and down super easy. So you see how much quicker this is? And I believe, I haven't really hardcore checked the numbers, but I believe, given quantity, actually produce more. Alright, we're gonna get our interior plate. Notice how the build planner gave me a forward interior plate and an aft interior plate, right? Beginning and end of the thing there. That's because that last one isn't going to be required to get to functional just to 100%. We're going to show that by withdrawing everything before that last 10. So notice We got up to 83% complete. But we can still use it completely. But if I come over here to my progression, actually that was enough to unlock it. Never mind. It's changed on me. Cool. So next gonna do is I'm going to show you so if I place this here, it's a solid unit, right? Yellow bit to yellow bit. If I place it here, it'll still let me finish it. But it won't be connected. And this is why I prefer to slope downward. Because, you notice, it all piles up at the... Production, we're still gonna need a lot more metal. I will apologize for the fact that I haven't developed to the point where I am editing videos yet. If I start getting more of a following on the YouTubes, I will invest in that. But right now, since this is more of a hobby and I'm getting to it as real life allows for me, I'd rather show you guys growth in the occasional video than, you know, start out with, you know, a few $100 invested in a channel that may or may not ever go anywhere. Just being honest, being real. Keep in mind, you can in fact drill at a steeper angle than you can walk up. So that's why I do the crouch and look down slightly method. But this is super compared to actually compared to using the survival kit, it's still slightly more efficient. If I stand up and look down, it'll help me level out the ground a little more. Right, like if I do this. See? And downward slope for the win. It's downtime. Actually, I don't need to pull out the rest of that stuff, because production tells me I have more than enough nickel and silicone. So I personally find that if I'm trying to go at a downward angle, crouching works easiest. If I'm trying to go at an upward angle, standing up works easiest. While finding actual iron, nickel, and sulfur or silica veins is not required for you to be able to do what you need to do, it is more efficient.
Inventory full.
I'm trying to give us the least amount of downtime so it doesn't drag this out forever. Who wants to watch a, 4-hour tutorial from some unknown streamer that's slowly building up his YouTube? That being said, that should be enough for the next. You know, we're gonna make this hole a little bit easier to find. Cool. Now it should be more visible. So if you accidentally put stuff in your skeletons that you don't want, you can grind. Just keep in mind that the longer you hold down the grind key, the more components will leave. Oh, we're getting there, we're getting there. I personally like to shape my tunnels a little bit. Those little nitpicky adjustments do add to the aesthetics, and it also allows us to travel easier. Oops. Didn't see that. Notice we get about 50 a trip. Sweet, we have enough of our initial steel plate. Cool, I'll grab that 50. Okay. Okay, cool. Our stone color has changed. Either I'm getting back to the surface and about to pop out the other side of a hill, or I'm just hitting another layer. So thanks to my downward slope, a lot of the stuff does
Inventory full.
fall. They're to the bottom, or at least stays down the line. Alright, so we're getting closer to finishing out our computers. We still need our 10 motors. We still need some steel plate. Where are we at? We still, it looks like 2 more trips. So now we'll need computers, motors, and construction. So we've got the rest of the... We should have the rest of the steel plate that we need.
Inventory full.
I am also not personally aware if the different types of stone that you get vary how much of each item you get from it. Look at that, we're getting close. We're getting close. Production. One more trip. One more trip.
Inventory full.
Wait for the full conversion. All I need is 5 motors. Look at that. We've got more than enough iron now to finish this out. 3, 2, 1, 0. Boom. So, I did this way to show that you don't have to necessarily dig out the whole spot in order to be able to build your item. So, now if I look, it shows my base assembler and my refinery on inventories. But, oh no, they're not connected. I did this on purpose. Now, I don't necessarily need this survival kit anymore, or this shuttle. That survival kit is what will allow me to respawn. If I were to die. But, but that's about the only thing I need that for now. And if you're so inclined, can in fact use your grinding wheel to remove it from your shuttle drop pod and place it on your framed out base. But I usually leave it on there till the power runs out. So it's kind of going to be a pain having to move resources back and forth. So we can solve this issue by scrolling the bottom of the progression window and using this conveyor junction or the elbow. I recommend, for ease of planning, if you do it like this, use a junction, because now I can attach on all 4 sides. I'll be able to attach other components for overall setup. But I don't have components I need, so build menu. Gonna be short on iron. I'm gonna do something here. Show you I can still get into my assembler, as long as I don't build up too much of that.
Inventory full.
Sweet.
Energy low.
Oh no. Oh, also, to prepare for your ship to be without power, right now I can hop in here, no problem, charge up. But in 7 more hours or so, not gonna work. I can build a passenger's chair or a cockpit and place it on my platform here on my grid. As long as power generator, it fine, or eventually nuclear, hydrogen. As long as it's connected to the grid, it'll share power. Uh, unless it's connected by conveyor belts, it will not share or borrow from inventories. So I am doing this way on purpose. So keep in mind, if you only have one turbine, it may come down to where you can only produce or refine. So, I wanted to show what happens if I can't get to that very easily. Right? Oh no, I can't see it. All I gotta do is tap it a few times. Now I'm right back here. I've got all the components that I already had to be able to place back in there. And I can access that again. I think that should be enough. Production, nope. Okay. Word of warning. Make sure when you make a grid with conveyor belts that you still have access to at least one of them. Or one of your actual entrance doors. Because right now, I can now move stuff between my assembler and my refinery. However, if I have to come over here, my conveyor belt does not let me. So, that gives you your basic starting. That should give you enough of an idea of how to be able to use the build planner, make it a lot simpler and less complex as it could be for producing the components you need in order to build up your base. So from this point on, what you're gonna want to worry about is using what you've already unlocked to build a vehicle. So you have a mobile ore detector. And be able to drive around to find cobalt. Because in order to do your top, your final assembler, and your final refinery, instead of the basic ones, you're gonna need cobalt. You can salvage stuff on your drop pod if you want, but that's only going to give you 5 girders. I think at most, maybe 1 or 2 more, but not a whole lot. You require a lot more than that to build your you require a lot more than that to build your refinery or your assembler. Your final assembler is going to be 2 blocks by 1 block tall. Your final refinery is going to be, I believe, 3 blocks tall, and it's going to be a 2 by 2 base. And then there's going to be places that you can hook upgrades to it and such. But at this point, like I said, you've got a good starting groundwork. Vehicles are a lot more complex. I'm not going to throw it in this video. And yeah, happy surviving. There's a lot of cool, unique things you can do with this game. I love the fact that it's up to you if you want to daisy chain everything together using your conveyor belts and conveyor tubes in conjunction, or junction boxes or whatever. Yeah, junctions. Or if you want a whole bunch of separate stuff. You know, am I gonna throw down a drill attached to my conveyor belt and have the base mine the stuff for me, or am I going to go pursue it? Am I gonna try to get my cobalt from the unknown signals? That's all up to you from this point on. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, keep an eye out for my channel. I'm planning on doing some more stuff like this. I might do a few different vehicle videos using this save file. Or I might do some more other games. Who knows? I still also have a Green Hell series at the moment. All the way up to episode 5 or 6. That's the story mode. So if that game interests you at all and you don't mind spoilers, or you already know what's going to happen, then give it a watch. I try to keep this stuff around 2 hours or less, so that way it's not a huge time commitment. And yeah, cool. This is actually a very good thing to end on, because oh no, my thing is running away. Oh, I got lucky with this one. It's gonna hit a tree. I don't have... Okay, yeah, I don't have that. Cool. Guess what? Now I do. What did I collect? Darn it. Interior plate. Be careful not to destroy anything important. Sweet, I got one. All right. Let's... So one button is... Darn you! You gotta get creative with some of these. Okay. That is... If you can hit the power button, you can get... You can get the parachute to stop. Wrong button. Cool. I hit the button. Now it's gonna stop being all kinds of crazy like. So. Cool. Now everything important is emptied out. Cool. Alright. So here's where I'm gonna bid y'all a fond farewell. Happy surviving.